This was shared by Sci-Fi Archives. Speaking of different locations that we could possibly see for Dune Part 3, I think it would be interesting if we see a return to Caladan, and that might be how we see Lady Jessica. This actually will set me on this whole new topic, but there's been so much speculation about what Denis Villeneuve plans to adapt for Dune Part 3. Considering it's called Part 3 and not Dune Messiah, that has raised all sorts of questions. And there's been a lot of heavy speculation about whether this is going to be a Dune Messiah, Children of Dune hybrid. And of course, just adding more fuel to that speculative fire is the casting of Leto II and Ghanima, the twins of Chani and Paul Atreides, as teenagers, older teenagers. So yeah, that has dumped a whole lot of fuel to this theory that this is going to be this huge mashup between these two books, Messiah and Children of Dune. And that really just had me very concerned because Dune Messiah, that is plenty. And I think it's actually the most adaptable in of itself because it's a pretty contained story. There's no time jumps. It takes place in a relatively short amount of time. From that point of view, it's better to adapt, I would say, as far as the time frame that you have. It's not this huge space that you have to cram into a short feature film. It's been adapted before in a miniseries format quite well in about an hour and a half. So yeah, I think it's perfect for a feature film length just in itself, Dune Messiah. But if you throw in Children of Dune, which is about the same comparably in length to Dune, that really concerned me that you can't just smush these two books together. You'd get something completely different in its story, and you'd have to sacrifice so much from both books in order for it to be anything coherent. It would be much more challenging to adapt to feature film, just two whole stories. So it does ease my concerns a bit that Rebecca Ferguson came out in a recent interview confirming the role she plays in Dune Part 3. So she is in it. That's interesting. And this is her quote. She's quoted as saying, "I don't have a big part in this one, in Dune Part 3. She's just barely in the book. I'm not sure I was supposed to be in it. And Denis had a little idea. The script is phenomenal." Yeah, she's not in the book for Dune Messiah. She's on Caladan at this time that Dune Messiah takes place. And the miniseries version actually does include a small part for Lady Jessica in the first episode that covers Messiah. It shows her and Gurney on Caladan at the very end of the episode. Post Stoneburner, she hears about the catastrophe that took place, the attack on Arrakis, and what happened to Paul. So she's seen getting that news. And I thought that was interesting how the miniseries decided to do that. I thought that was a cool way to include her. And in a miniseries format that did cover the lengths of Messiah and Children of Dune, that was an interesting way to, in the first episode, still include her and make it more cohesive for each episode. And they did that too with James McAvoy's Leto II. We included him, and also Winsessa Carino, Susan Sarandon was included in that first episode of Dune Messiah. So it was a light mismatch of Messiah and Children of Dune. And I thought for a miniseries, that made sense to me, and it did make it more cohesive from that perspective. But for a feature film format, and this is my hope for this film, Dune Part 3, is that it fully embraces just the narrative of Dune Messiah. And any additions that it would have, my hope is that it was just going to be what was left out of Dune Part 2, specifically when it came to Alia Atreides and Lady Jessica. So if there was anything to be added, that's what my hope for that was. But now at least we know for sure that this is not going to be the mishmash hybrid that was speculated for this film. That was going to be this huge thing because Lady Jessica plays a significant role in Children of Dune's narrative. So considering now that we know for sure she's not in it, she's not in Dune Part 3, but just a tiny bit, this could be a flashback of events in between. If they do this opening narration, which I hope is done by Alia Atreides, I think that would be cool. Just kind of showing us what happened in the years between the events of Dune and Messiah, 12 years time span of Muad'Dib's jihad. I think that would be cool. Or it could take a page out of the Sci-Fi Channel miniseries, and maybe we'll see her towards the end. And that could be another way of planting the seeds for a future adaptation of Children of Dune. her getting the news about what happened on Arrakis, what happened to Paul and Chani, and all of that, her getting caught up on events. And we see her on Caladan. And we know the same thing is true for Josh Brolin's Gurney Halleck. He also came out recently and said that he has a very small part in it. And he's read the script. It's also phenomenal, he said. But yeah, he's not in it much. So they could be together. And that could be a similar thing. They're both seen on Caladan, maybe getting news of what happened towards the end. And that could be, yes, another way of paving the way for a future adaptation of Children of Dune. I think that would be really cool. And I also would love that. I would love Children of Dune to be done, but I want it to be done in its own complete narrative. Whoever visionary director comes in to do his own thing with the narrative of Children of Dune and not have to worry about any crossover that's been done by Denis Villeneuve with his Messiah adaptation. And I do want Children of Dune to be done because that is the complete story as Frank Herbert, the author, envisioned it. He envisioned the first 3 books as one cohesive story. That's my hope. That always has been my hope for Denis Villeneuve's approach with this, is not to mess too much with Children of Dune, to tease the future. Sure, I'm fine with that. Drum up that anticipation for the next film. That could be the 4th film, but never more than that kind of gets in the way of any other director and writers coming in to adapt Children of Dune, to let them have the creative freedom to take that particular story and adapt it and have the creative freedom of what they have in that source material to do so. So yeah, this actually makes me excited. It always did not make sense to me for Denis Villeneuve to mash those 2 books together for this last installment. Because where would you have left it? Honestly, I can't think of a more perfect and hard-hitting ending that Dune Messiah doesn't already provide in the source material for Denis Villeneuve's ending to his film trilogy. Of the last shot of the desert, I think that actually would be a great ending for Denis Villeneuve's, in particular, his adaptation of this. And again, leaving the door open for the future, as Muad'Dib himself did. So let me know what you think about this news coming off of what we heard from Josh Brolin and now from Rebecca Ferguson, that they both have a very small role in Dune Part 3. So this does lend weight that Part 3 is indeed going to be just an adaptation of Dune Messiah, the sequel novel. And yeah, let me know what your theories are for what their scenes could be. Could this be a flashback, or could it be cutting to them at some point in the narrative on Caladan? At the end of the day, my hope is what shines through is what makes the book so special. And that is the themes that the author wanted to shine through and the core moments in the characters' journeys and what that says. And I really hope that shines through, especially with Dune Messiah, which is a lot of people's favorite Dune book. It is philosophical, it is emotional, it is hard-hitting, and it is Shakespearean. I think it could be amazing. And I think the more that you lean into what the source material is, the more amazing it would be. It is challenging, but I think well worth the effort if they try to do that. I hope for the best and expect the worst with these. But yeah, let me know your theories about that in the comments.